right, let's see. What can we talk about today? Let's talk about having a good smelling room. This smells just like old lady soap. So that's how you know it's good. If it smells like old lady soap. I was going to see if I could reach the box. This is Nag Champa. I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. Some Nag Champa. So when it's not lit, it smells just like old lady soap. And for me, I think that smells better than sweaty dudes in a basement. So that's what I've chose to spice it up. Also, let's talk about tuners. This little guy, this is the best tuner I've ever had. I really like this thing. Works awesome. Just never has any problems. Battery life is forever. I just barely changed the battery on this thing for the very first time after owning it for about 12 years. So I use it quite a bit. I don't know if other people are going to get that much life out of it, but the Polytune, I want to say TC Electronics makes it. Yep. TC Electronics. You can see it up there on the top. Yep. So great little tuner. They're kind of spendy as far as little clip-on tuners go. You're supposed to be able to tune all of the strings at the same exact time. It's kind of a cool gimmick. Never used it one time. I guess maybe I'm just stuck in my old ways or whatever, but I just think it's a good little tuner. Handy to have around the studio. Have a couple of those. Have that one. Have one of them. Have 10 of them. Whatever your needs are. Outside of that, headphones. Got to have a good set of headphones. I really love the ATH M50Xs. I think these are kind of more or less an industry standard. They're worth the money. I have tried probably 10 different styles of headphones, and I would say these are the ones that I'm the most happy with. Bass response is good. In my opinion, you can mix on these headphones, probably not master, but you could definitely get some really good translatable mixes. I don't know, maybe somebody can master on these. I guess mastering is all about what you, mixing and mastering is all about what you're hearing in the mix and, is it translating and being represented and do you understand what you're listening to? So maybe somebody could. The other thing that I really like is having a good mixer, some sort of listen back device for people to record with. My preferred choice is the PowerPlay 16 by Behringer. I also have the X-Rack 32, or X32 rack, I guess I should say. And I also have the extension snake, the SD16. So I have a total of 32 ins and outs just using that. One of the nicest things about that is that with their little Ultranet stuff, you just run a Cat5 to all the different players. And if you have the SD Snake or if you have the P16 monitoring hub, essentially that will power all of these mixers over Ethernet. The X32 rack itself, it does not power the mixers. I don't know why they didn't allow it to power out of there. I'm not sure what the choice was there, but it seems a little strange. Now you can't daisy chain them together without having some sort of a P16 switch or the hub or whatever other products that they have that power them. So each little monitoring station comes with its own little power supply. So, you kind of are stuck next to walls that have outlets that aren't very far away, unless you want to run like a what do you call it? An extension cord. Yeah. So you can do that also. Really love them though. Every person can mix their own sound. Most people don't even understand how to do that. So generally speaking, anytime I set up a session, I just go ahead and mix it to the way that I like it. Typically speaking, nobody complains about it. There are all kinds of tricks and stuff that you can do on these things. You can recall sessions and stuff like that if you want to get really fancy with it. You can create groups and all kinds of stuff. But most of the time, the way that I utilize that thing is I just have, a few channels for all the different audio. Inside the X32, I can set up these bus sends, and each one of these bus sends just routes over, and I can select which alternate channel I want it to run on 1 through 16. And that way I get playback of like my DAW, and I get the live sound of whatever's being played with no latency whatsoever. So, the X32 is really nice because it's generating the sound through its own preamps of what's being played. So you get to hear what you're playing as if you were playing through a PA or something like that. But it's coming through your headphones through these P16s. And then playback comes through almost like another instance of an instrument or something like that. So there is no latency. It's just completely perfect. So you're not hearing it through the DAW. You're just hearing those two signals mapped over top of each other, which gets rid of any latency. And it sounds great. You can tone sculpt. You can do all kinds of different stuff on them. I really love them. They're super cheap now. They've dropped in price, and they've come out with a new version. The latest version is more digital. It doesn't, I don't know, they just changed the look of it. I don't know exactly what's different about it because I don't own any of them yet. I'm probably going to get a couple of more of those, but yeah, really good stuff. You guys should check that out if you're if you're looking for some sort of playback system that will get you to zero latency. If you don't have the X32, you would just go to the little branch controller thing that they have. And in that case, you would not have zero latency. You'd have whatever you were dealing with your DAW, because the sound would come directly out. But a lot of DAWs nowadays, like the Scarlett, it just allows sound to go straight through the interface instead of being clocked. So you can mute the incoming sound for audio playback and then only hear the DAW. But if you're recording, you just want as little latency as possible. So that's kind of the workaround that they have for the Scarletts. Other audio interfaces may be doing something similar. Not exactly sure, but yeah, works really good. I've had no complaints. I can run literally anything I want. So, in my studio here, I've got 52 channels of simultaneous playback with no latency. I get, sorry, not 52 channels of playback. I have far more than that actually in playback, but I have 52 inputs that I can record simultaneously. So I set my studio up as as you got an idea, you just go with it. It's already mapped. It's already, set up in my templates, and you just get ready with your idea, find a sound you like, boom, you go. It's already recorded. So I like to have that kind of functionality here because I don't want to miss ideas. And sometimes you get option paralysis. You just sit and root through menus and decide different things, and you kind of lose the magic of whatever you're doing. And something me and my friends talk about a bit when we're recording is try to get vocals down as early on in the process as possible, because for whatever reason, you might have a cool idea in your head and you'll forget how the vocal melody is kind of sounding later on usually, unless you phonetically map it out or sonically map it out with no words, which some artists do. But at any rate, just getting something recorded over top of stuff is usually the best way to go to continue having further inspiration on your songs. I really try hard to put some sort of vocal melody down with lyrics or something like that early on in the process every single time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as, how things are routed and how my studio is set up. I just barely got a new device today, which I'm trying out. This is I don't even know who makes this thing. It's called the Fi-Fine. And this thing is plugged directly into my iPhone. You can kind of see here what it looks like. Kind of looks like a SM7B. But yeah, it's a handy little setup. No software is required. I just have the 15, which is USB-C. This microphone has a USB-C input on it. It was $50. I'm feeling pretty happy about the overall sound quality. I've done a couple of little videos where I take and do, well, here, I'll just do one. So this is the sound quality with the Fi-Fine. It cost me like $39 or $59, actually, I think is what it was. And this is the sound of just my iPhone, no external microphone hooked up. In my opinion, I think it definitely improves the sound quality. Now, I mean, this is just a little USB-C power on here. It's not gonna, I think I have the preamp on here cranked all the way up so that I can get the loudest amount of gain out of it. And it's still pretty quiet in the audio recordings. It's not introducing a whole bunch of air, but it's also not super loud. If I back away, then we're going to end up with a little bit different sound quality than if I'm straight up on top of it, because, you've got the inverse square law, and, as things move away at a distance, it dies off at an incremental rate that's pretty significant. So you don't get the, what do they call that? Where you end up with a lot more bass as you're closer together. Bass frequencies require a lot more energy, so the closer you are to the source, the more intense that they can get. So anyways, yeah, pretty good little setup, I think. I was going to go with the MV7. I still may end up buying that at some point, but this was a really cheap option, and I just wanted to check it out. Last little thing that I'll mention, just having this hooked up only to my iPhone as it's powering this microphone, it is sucking the battery life down on my phone. So when I started the video here, I had about 77%, and I think this video is only 3 or 4 minutes long. So, you're not going to get very far with this. You're not going to record a hour-long discussion or anything like that. However, I did order a little PD 100-watt capable pass-through splitter kind of hub that plugs into these iPhones, and I'll showcase that in the next video, basically. But that way I can charge at the same time. I'll be able to pass information and data through that thing to be able to, run a little bit longer segment videos without my phone dying. So yeah, pretty interesting. I'm pretty happy with it so far. So let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping by.